Hi, and welcome to this episode of the Mojo Moment. I'm Lisa Bowman, and today's guest is Lan Phan. Lan has made a career out of building communities. She's worked for Fortune. She has worked for the Association of National Advertisers. She has worked at See Her. And if you look at her LinkedIn profile, one of the things that she references is the ability to help brands unlock loyalty and revenue through leveraging the power of community. Lan is currently with Community of Seven, which she founded. And Lan, welcome.
Well, hello. Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for having me. So as you mentioned, I'm Lan Phan. I'm the CEO of Community of Seven. So outside of being an entrepreneur, I live in Dobbs Ferry in Westchester, New York with my husband, Kevin, and our daughter, Morgan. I grew up in Hawthorne and Inglewood neighborhoods in Los Angeles to Vietnamese parents. My mother raised our family of 5 on her income as a hairdresser. I ended up getting out of the hood and going to Stanford for my undergrad and Harvard for my master's. So that's a little bit about me.
What a nice pedigree there. A little jealous myself. Talk to me a little bit about Community of Seven. You have made a career, as I said, out of launching communities for companies. What is Community of Seven?
So we help companies unlock revenue and loyalty through the power of community, membership, and subscription. So at Community 7, we also build our own communities, bringing leading executives, change makers, and thought leaders together to tackle really big business and societal issues. So everything from gender and racial equality, which is so important, such an important conversation that we need to have today, mental health and leadership. So one of our signature events that you're a part of, Lisa, is our signature biweekly call with female executives and their allies called Let's Talk.
It's great. I love it. It has been a phenomenal resource for me. It's great to be able to connect with other people, especially during these times when some of us are isolated or experiencing new and different things. Why do you think that the power of community is so important right now?
Because I think inherently everyone wants to feel like they want a sense of belongingness. They want to feel a sense of purpose and that there's something greater than themselves. And so, community allows people to really realize that they're not alone. And one of the big aha moments I had, because I've worked with like CEOs and CMOs and the entire C-suite, is that it's very lonely at the top. And so you might not be able to get that support at home or in the workforce, showing weakness. You don't want to show weakness in the boardroom. And so having this community of kind of peers where you can really, connect with is so important.
I think it's interesting that you mentioned weakness because I think today we're seeing a big shift towards vulnerability. And those are two very different things, right?
Yeah.
But with all of us running businesses and at work from home,
Yeah.
we are letting people see a different side of us that is more vulnerable, right? Whether it's having your kids running around in the background as you're trying to be on a conference call,
Exactly.
the dog is in your lap, or my dog was barking as I was on a call a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Deciding that, you know what, I'm not getting up and doing hair and makeup, quite frankly, to show
No.
up for a meeting. And
Yeah.
that's a very different place than I think many of us, particularly as females, have been in the past.
Exactly. And I think that's so powerful. I mean, there's a lot of negative things that have, that COVID has brought, but I think one of the positive is that people have really been able to kind of be their authentic self, at work, because you're trying to juggle, taking care of kids, dealing with mental health issues. And so the great leaders, in this period are the ones that show vulnerability. And I think that's such a powerful trait to have.
I agree, totally. Where along your journey have you encountered your mojo moment? That moment where you kind of went, that's what this is all about, or this is what my purpose is. This is why I'm doing this. We've all had them. So can you share about yours?
I'm so glad that you're asking this question. My mojo moment happened after my tenure at Fortune ended. So Fortune CEO Alan Murray, who's an amazing leader, reached out to me to create and launch their membership product called Fortune Connect. And I had spent, over a decade, actually 20 years, building memberships for companies like Microsoft, you know, the Association of National Advertisers, See Her, etc. So membership was always kind of in my blood, but I've also been a marketer. I've been a CMO, chief brand officer of various companies. So I've been in the marketing space and kind of membership space for over 20 years. So my aha moment came when, you know, I was on the executive team reporting to Alan. I had to build a team from scratch. It was literally a startup within Fortune. I had to create a product launch, trademark, ideate. It was such an amazing experience. And then COVID-19 happened. So it was such a surreal experience because I had to quickly shift and figure out what my next steps were. You know, as you know, any kind of startup, you know, the founders are usually the first to go. So as soon as COVID happened and I realized what was going on, kind of read the tea leaves, my mojo moment happened when I realized that my real passion, because I was like, well, what do I do next? You know, do I, you know, become a, you know, look for my next marketing position? And I realized that my passion was bringing people together to really solve really big problems. And so literally within 48 hours, I built a website, you know, built this company. And, you know, I had already kind of had a business that I just did a DBA as an LLC. And I realized this is my passion and this is what I want to do. And that was kind of my aha moment. It was kind of like this period of real fear and just like, what am I going to do next? To this is what I want to do. This is my passion. I'm going to grow this business and I'm just going to jump and see where it takes me.
Well, having been a part of it and some of the events that you've put on, I will definitely say that you've for sure gotten your mojo on. So it's been awesome to be a part of that. Just a couple minutes left today. Do you have any words of advice that you would give for anybody who is kind of struggling to find their community right now or looking to build community?
Yeah, I think the key thing is get it out of your head that you're networking. Real community is about giving, but also taking. Because I think some women have issues. They're good at giving, but not taking. And I think with community, with families, with friendships, it's about giving and taking. And I think part of being in a community is just to kind of, you know, one of the best advice I got was when you're doing an event. I'm actually an introvert by nature. One of the best advice I got was pretend this is your home and you're the host. And for me, that was a paradigm shift because whenever I go to any situation, I think, how can I help people? How do I make them feel comfortable? How do I make them feel home? And every call I have, every meeting I have is about how do I make people feel comfortable? Because the networking part just felt yucky to me, but helping people, I loved that. That was my passion. And I think you have to just kind of have a paradigm shift when you're thinking about networking or building communities. It's really about how do you build a sense of belongingness? That is your goal. How do I help? How do I serve? How do I help change the world for the better? And when you have that paradigm shift, everything changes.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for being with us today. If somebody wants to connect with you, where's the best place to find you?
You can find me on Community of Seven. You could also find me on LinkedIn. And we also have a Community of Seven page on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter.
Awesome. You're everywhere. Cool. Lan, thank you so much for joining us today. And I am so grateful to be a part of your community. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Lisa.